Hey, Kim in Hollywood, California. See more better here with freeprescriptionlenses.com, and today I am going to cut your prescription anti-glare lenses for your Versace 1233Q color 1366, which is the black gold in the 53 eye size. So let me take everything out of the original packaging as Versace sends it to me. Of course, your Versace hard shell Italian leather case, your Versace card of authenticity with instructions in several languages, and of course your international warranty that comes with it. And the star of the show, the main attraction, before we get to the star of the show, your Versace cleaning cloth. Speaking of stars, Kim, your last name wouldn't be Kardashian, would it? That would be way too cool. But this is it. It comes with a little plastic sleeve on the left temple to protect the temples from rubbing together while it's being shipped to me from Italy. All Versaces are made in Italy. And again, this is the Versace 1233Q color 1366 in the 53 eye size. Really, really nice frame here. Classic black and gold. You know, the black and platinum is in now, but Versace will always bring the gold. And of course, it's got a Medusa sitting on the leather end piece there. It's got that on both sides. Classic Versace. Same Medusa that is on the front of the box there. Can you see that? The little version. So, all right, let me go ahead and begin. I'm going to pop out your original demo lenses, one of which it says Versace. Put this in the case so that, check what screw on. I'll need the the Phillips head for that. Put those in there for you. Put your frame into the tracing element of my edger and hit start. I keep saying edger. This is the blocker, the tracing element of the blocker. This little stylus is going to go around and program the computer to know which shape lens to cut. Here at freeprescriptionlenses.com, where everyone loves a bargain and no one is disappointed in quality. You buy a genuine, authentic Versace frame and you'll receive one free pair of clear single vision prescription lenses or non-prescription fashion lenses. My receipt has my federal ID tax number, so if you have vision insurance or flex dollars, you will get reimbursed for this purchase, whether they are prescription or not. Now, Kim, you know you need prescription, especially because you have higher than average astigmatism. That's why you opted to upgrade to the anti-glare coating, because you would super benefit from it. So that is the shape of the lens we'll be cutting today. Let me go ahead and bring up the next screen where I can program the computer all the coordinates that it needs. I'll put that back down there. Your pupillary distance for your right eye is 32. The computer starts at 32.5, so I'm going to tap this minus button one time. It goes down in 0.5 millimeter increments. Now I do want to raise the optical center up a couple millimeters. The blue cross is the geometric center of your frame. If you were to measure vertically and horizontally, that's where it would be, but your eye is just above that in inset. And because most of this frame is below your pupil, that's why I raised the optical center up to put, it's like the crosshairs of a scope. You measure vertically and horizontally. I put them dead center in front of your pupil. Let's see, 32 in that. Okay, we are good. Let's come down here and go ahead and get your lenses prepped. Your right eye is -2, -1 at 85. Let me go ahead and spin that axis wheel to 85. One of these, yeah, -2, -1. Let me check that one, -175, -3, -175, -3. We're good to go there. So take the lens out of the protective sleeve. Put the power drum on -2, which it is from the last video I did. That was convenient. Rotate the lens until the spherical component comes in clearly. Check your astigmatism correction. Everything is lining up perfectly, of which I'll explain in just a little while. I'm going to put 3 dots on your lenses. That's where they're at. Let me mark this one as the right lens. Put that on the platform. We're going to do the same thing now for the left lens. -175, -3 at 100. Go from 85 to 100. Come on, 100. Let's get real exact. -175. We start there. Take the lens out of the protective sleeve. Put it in, rotate until the spherical component comes in clearly. Check your astigmatism correction. Get everything lined up just perfectly. Those crosshairs of a scope. And again, put 3 dots on your lenses. And let's mark this one as the unright lens by putting an L on there. And if you missed any of that, let me recap. I'm telling you, that joke is for me. I don't care if anyone else laughs at that. I'm going to laugh at it every time. So, this is a block, or I like to call them Jenny from the block. I need to attach this to your lens while it is cutting. So I need to use a double-sided adhesive sticker, which I've got a couple over here. The black side is the sticky side, so I'm going to stick this one onto the first block. Place it on the platform, do the same thing for the second block. Now on the back is a silver button that is a magnet. It's going to do its job twice today. The first time it's going to attach itself to something magnetical there in the arm. I'm going to pull the paper away. Again, make the black side sticky. Line that up there. Get everything lined up on your lens. The reason why I put those black dots on there, it tells me that it's oriented and they're just right. With your astigmatism, it cannot be off kilter at all. Even if you didn't have any astigmatism, that can throw off the pupillary distance. So everything is lined up in there perfectly. That is the optical center right where in front of your pupil. These other two dots tells me that it's lined up in there perfectly. And now, check one thing. Oh yeah, that lens is plenty large enough. Hit that button, the arm's going to come down and place the block onto the right lens. We're going to do the same thing now for the left lens. Put that onto the platform, pull the paper away to make the black side sticky, line up the magnet there. Now your pupillary distance for your left eye is 31.5. It has mirrored your right and come across to 32, so I'm going to tap the minus button one time and it comes down to 31.5. Same optical center height, same vertical height. Get everything lined up there into the platform. Make sure those two dots are lined up perfectly. Check one thing. Oh yeah. Now we're cooking with gas. Hit this button and the arm's going to come down and place the block onto the left lens. So, this is the edger. This is what costs $40,000. It weighs 200 pounds. I recommend everyone go out, buy their own, put it on your kitchen counter. Then you can cut your own lenses at home after watching this video for your next pair of Versace's, and you won't need this guy anymore to do it for you. So, let me pull up the shape onto the computer. That is the shape of the lens we'll be cutting. These are polycarbonate lenses. If they were plastic, high index plastic or Trivex, I would select that. I'm not going to polish the edge of your lens because it won't be seen in this frame. I'm not going to put a safety bevel on the front convex surface of the lens because it won't be protruding from the frame anyway. I'm only going to put a safety bevel on the rear concave surface of the lens. And that concludes your vocabulary lesson of the day. Ding! Turn the page. So I'm going to hit the green arrow. First, let me put the lens in here. Now, that magnet is going to do its job a second time. It's going to attach itself to something magnetical there in the chuck, or as I like to call it, the Charles, because I don't know this machine well enough to call it chuck. Say it with me when you know my bad jokes ahead of time. Now I'm going to hit the green arrow, which is start in every language. The door closes, the clamp shuts, and then the lens is going to be traced by two white styluses, making sure that the lens is large enough to fit into the frame. And you can see as it's going around tracing the shape of the right lens. And the old carpenter saying, measure twice, cut once. It's measuring the thickness of the lens at every point to know exactly and precisely where to place the bevel for the least amount of edge thickness showing. Now in plastic frames, that always hides it. Metal frames are a little bit thinner. And with your astigmatism in the left eye, it'll be interesting to see how that turns out. So if you see the light flickering in the background, that is water to catch the optical sawdust as it comes off of your lens. Polycarbonate lenses cut dry, where plastic, high-index plastic, and Trivex cut wet. Now water will spray onto the lens for the last 20 seconds of the cutting cycle just to wash away any optical debris that hopefully you would see forming on the edge of your lens, but not this time. Oh, there was a little piece, there was a little piece. So your lenses are made out of polycarbonate. Polycarb is 40% thinner and lighter than regular plastic. It is virtually unbreakable. They are high-impact lenses and have both 100% UVA and UVB protection built into the lens. We know what the sun's harmful ultraviolet rays can do to your skin, where your eyes are 8 times more sensitive than your skin, so you have permanent sunscreen for your eyes. Unlike the lotions, creams, and sprays that you need to reapply every couple hours when you're in direct exposure to the sun there in Hollywood, this is permanent and never needs to be reapplied. The other nice thing about your lenses, they are aspheric. Aspheric simply means not spherical. A spherical lens is completely round in every direction on the thing. It gives you an ugly cosmetic fishbowl appearance. It's a much thicker lens. So not only are your lenses thinner and lighter, but it has a flatter curvature front to fit in today's flatter curvature frames. Now, you also got the anti-glare coating, which is 3 features in one. The first feature is it eliminates glare when driving at night, especially driving at night in the rain, because with your astigmatism, you are bothered by halo of oncoming lights more than most people. So that will be greatly reduced, as well as, you know, street lights, stoplights, computer screens, overhead, fluorescent lights, and the such. Now, it's a reflection-free lens. It goes by the initials ARC because it reduces reflections. So when someone's looking at you, they're not looking at their reflection in your glasses. They see just your eyes, so it makes for much better eye contact. Or if someone takes a picture with a flash, or if you take a selfie, you're less likely to see the camera or flash in the lens. The third feature that I like, which is the practical side, is it takes over 24 hours to vaporize 8 different coatings, 8 different materials on your minerals, on your lens. And it has to dry between coats. So because of the time and the expense, they put the hardest scratch coating possible to protect your time and investment. So if you notice, a little lever has come into play. At the end of that lever is a spinning wheel, something you would find at the end of a Dremel tool. That's what's applying the safety bevel to the rear surface of the lens. In case any of that protrudes from the back surface of the lens onto your cheek, it will be nice and smooth. Now I'm going to open this door with my mind. You like that? I can do other things with my mind. I can melt ice with my mind. I can. It just takes me a couple hours, but I can do it. Just going to dry your lens off. Check to make sure. Oh, it is not. All the optical debris is off of your lens. Look at that. I love it when it comes off in one piece, like when you're cleaning the lint trap in your dryer. I'm just going to make sure it's all off your lens. Might as well check the front while I'm at it. Once that is collected, now in my earliest videos you saw me wipe this on the floor, but thanks to my wife, she has asked me that in my new lab I keep it cleaner, so I'm going to collect it and drop it into the trash can. Love you, honey. Plus it's about 5 degrees outside. We got this snowstorm here on the East Coast, and it's just too cold to sleep in my car in the driveway, so I got to be nice to my wife. So I used my Phillips head screwdriver to loosen the screw on that side. I'm going to tuck the lens into the frame, keep everything lined up, come down here to my little rubber sheath that protects the frame from the hard surface. I'm going to tighten that down there, protecting the finish of the frame against the hard surface of my workbench. And we can go ahead and start cutting the left lens. We're going to flip that over to L, press that on there tight, put the lens into the chuck, the Charles, the Chucky baby. Hit start, and just like before, the door is going to close, the clamp is going to shut, and the lens is going to be traced by the 2 white styluses, making sure that it's large enough to fit into the frame. And you can see as it's going around tracing the shape of the lens. And just like before, measuring the thickness of the lens at every point to know exactly precisely where to place the bevel, so you have the least amount of edge thickness showing. And with a higher than average prescription in this larger metal frame, you have hardly any showing, so that turned out really well. So while that is cutting, let's come down here and inspect the right lens. We're going to pop the block off, throw that in there, recycle this into a piece of artwork. Let's put it there. Let's thicken up that side. And we're going to come down here to the lensometer. My marker 101, we're going to come back to it and spin the axis wheel back to 85. Put the lens in above that black dot, which is where your pupil will be resting behind. Check the power of the lens, and we are getting -2. So the reason we're getting that is the unit of measurement in the optical world is called a diopter, spelled D-I-O-P-T-E-R, starting at 0 and going up in quarter increments, so 0.25, 0.50, 0.75, 1, on up to -2. So you're on the 8th rung of a ladder. You need 8 steps of far-sighted correction. That is why there is a minus sign in front of the power of your lens. With your glasses off, everything you look at is way too large. So this reduces it 8 steps to the correct size. Now once everything is the correct size, we have to fine-tune for the astigmatism correction. That's what astigmatism is. It makes 6s and 8s look alike, or the letters P and F. You have one curve on your eye, 8 steps of far-sighted correction this way, and you have a second curve on your eye that's even steeper than the first one, which is another 4 steps. And it's how we line up those 2 curves to make everything nice and crisp. And we're going to turn that fine-tune knob to 85, which it is at. We're going to check your astigmatism correction now, and we end up at -3. That's because we add -2 and -1 together and we get -3. 3 in the red. Now, this first two numbers are real values to be concerned with. This last number, the axis could be anywhere from 0 to 180. Now, you only need 7 steps of farsighted correction for your left eye, but you need an additional 12 steps of astigmatism correction. This is where that anti-glare coating comes in so nice for you, because light is supposed to come in through your pupil in almost like one stream from a pencil, but it doesn't. It comes in from every direction. If you can imagine the shape of a pie and the point of the pie coming this way, light comes from every direction in through your iris, through your pupil, and should focus at one point on the back of your retina. This is your eye. The front of your eye is here at my fingers. This is your retina, the back of the eye. So when it comes in without glasses on, it scatters all over, and that's why you get a halo effect, because it's not focusing on one simple point on the back of your retina at your macula. So the lens, this is my superpower in life. I bend light for a living. I take all of that comes in as a pie shape and I form it into one solid beam on the back of your retina. So that's why it's driving at night is so much better, and you can benefit from that immensely. Now, even someone without a high amount of astigmatism can benefit from it. Now, the Versace frame sells for $270 because I signed a contract with Versace that I have to sell them at the price they tell me to, but they don't tell me what I have to give their lenses for. So, of course, you're going to get free prescription lenses with the purchase of any frame. You upgrade it to my house anti-glare coating for $44.99, which brings a total of $314.99. I have every type of anti-glare possible, from Crizal, from Provencia to Sapphire, and including my house brand, which this is an Essilor lens, which is Essilor owns Crizal. There's no way to know for sure that this is not a Crizal lens. They just put it in the house wrapper, if you will, but because of the machinery that costs so much, I can't imagine they have a whole separate machine for a different anti-glare coating. So now we're getting the safety bevel applied to the rear surface of the lens. I also want to take a minute to tell you that I've been going through a personal growth in the last couple months. I've been reading a lot of books. This is the one I'm currently on, almost as thick as 2 of these put together. But anyone out there who's watching, that's the next one I'm going to do. The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Really inspiring book. That one got to me. It's made me start a program that for every 2 pair of glasses I sell, I will donate 1 pair to charity. And no matter what life brings you, always return back. Almost like tithing. You can always do that in a house of worship, but you don't have to stop there. Where's your frame? Here it is. Always get back to the community. There's an old African saying that it takes a village to raise a child, and it's true. I want to give back to this country and this world that has given me so much. As you heard me say, and I've loosened that screw to pop the lens in. I'm going to pop in the outside edge first and push down at the nose and all the way around. As you heard in one of my videos earlier, my family was in town for the holidays, which happens to coincide with my mother's birthday. I had 5 family members, my brother, sister-in-law, and their 2 kids, and my sis. They picked up my sister to have breakfast, and then they were on a head-on collision just a mile from my sister's house with some young person was texting on the phone, crossed the center lane of a country highway where there was only 2 lanes, and slammed into them. My sister-in-law broke her femur, which is a thigh bone, the hip, I guess, which they call the pelvis, and then 3 places in her arm. Then she lost the fluid in her elbow. The doctor was saying evidently there's fluid in here which makes your elbow bend or do other things, I'm assuming. I bend light for a living. I don't know how elbows work. But something was punctured and all the fluid drained out of that. She just got transferred yesterday to a physical therapy place where, of course, she lives in Florida. What a time to come up from Florida to spend freezing cold weather here in North Carolina in a hospital bed. Oops, I'll get that later. And then in physical therapy. But yeah, this miracle we call life is so fragile. You never know what you can do. My sister ended up cracking 4 vertebrae in her back and had to have L4 and L5 fused, whatever that means. So, you know, personal growth is incredible. We have a short time on this planet. We've got to do as much as we can with it. Never taking a day off when you can do something for someone else, because that means really you end up doing something for yourself. And so, let me get back to that. Let me finish up here. So your left lens is -175, -175, 1 tick mark away from 2. Let's check the higher than average amounts of astigmatism, of which you have 3 diopters, 12 steps, and we end up at minus 475, 1 tick mark away from 5. That's because if we had let someone borrow $1.75 from us and they borrowed another $3, we would be 475 in the red, and that's where we are at. So that is cut perfectly. Let's come back down here. Your pupillary distance is 32.5 in your right, 31.5 in your left, for a total of 63.5. I'm going to turn this card around, place the PD stick against my thumb on your right lens, and then when we hold it up to the left lens, we're getting 63.5 millimeters, so that is cut perfectly. Now, this is the portion in every video that as I clean your lenses, I'm about to need a new pair of tissue, a box of tissue soon. But when I clean your lenses, I mentioned that when you get these in the mail, and of course free shipping anywhere in the US, free insured shipping with the purchase of a frame. But when you get these in the mail, there's a small chance that these could fit too loose or too tight. However, there's an 80% chance that one side is going to sit higher than the other. That is because 80% of people have one ear that is higher than the other, and I'm no different, and I'll show you in just a moment. But because of that statistic, 99% of all optical shops will do free adjustments if you ask them. So just stop by your local place there in Hollywood and tell them if it's too loose or too tight or high on one side. It only takes about 30 seconds to a minute to adjust a pair of glasses. Now, I also send out a selfie request and everything to every package to have your picture on the website. Kim, I would love to have your picture on the website. I also send out cleaning instructions, not only to care for your frame and your lenses, but for your cleaning cloths, your Versace one and the one that I'm providing, as well as your Versace case, so it too may last you for years. So when you get these in the mail and there's a wrinkle in this cloth, I field test every cleaning cloth to make sure that it works. Plus, I'm too cheap to take the one out of my pocket to use it. But I'm going to get these in standard alignment, also known as a 3-point stance. The 3 points are 1, 2, and the bottom of the frame being 3. I set them on the counter and press down. There is no wobble. When I say wobble, I take mine off and press down on the counter. They wobble on the counter, but they sit level on me. For those of you keeping score at home, I'm wearing the Versace 3199 in color. What color is this? Hang on, let me get my magnifying glass so I can see. Color. All right, hang on. 5118, which is blue and tortoise, to go with my blue and brown slack, so I'm always matching. It has the little Versace plate on there. I love this frame. So, and a nice, that Versace emblem, which is what they call the Greco emblem, the Greek pattern along the length of the temple. Let me put mine back on so I can see what I'm doing, yo. Flip these over, press down, there is no wobble. Close each temple to make sure they overlap perfectly, and they do. And that neither temple is askew or one's higher than the other. So that's that. Kim in Hollywood, California. Hope you enjoyed watching as I cut prescription lenses with anti-glare for your Versace 1233Q color 1366, which is the black gold and the 53 eye size. Now, if I want to mention that if anyone has any questions or comments, you can either send them to freeprescriptionlenses@gmail.com or simply click the contact me button on the website. But as of recently, I've had people leave comments in the comment section below, right below the description, because if you have a question that you have, it may actually benefit someone else to read it that they may not have had. You can, if you like watching these videos, please subscribe to my channel. You'll be able to see more of my videos. You can follow me on Facebook, or more realistically, Instagram at Free Prescription Lenses, or on Twitter at Free RX Lenses. The other thing in the comment section I'm having people do now is, if there's been a book other than the Bible, I don't want to offend anyone. I have several copies of the Bible in my house that I read. I come from a very religious family. But if there's a book other than the Bible that has made an impact and a very wonderful impact on your life, please leave that in the comment section. And not just that, why it is the book reached you at a time in your life than it did, because you might be able to benefit someone else. And again, we're only on this planet for a short time. We were reminded of that. Fortunately, my sister was out of the hospital in just 2 days, which just amazes me that you can do back surgery like that and have someone up and about so quickly, and she's in very little pain. Fortunately, I live in a city with some wonderful hospitals and surgeons that she was able to get to quickly. My sister-in-law has a fairly longer battle that she has to do, but you know, it's one of the journeys we have in life. So again, Kim in Hollywood, California, hope you enjoyed watching as I cut prescription lens with anti-glare coating for your Versace's. And hopefully everyone else has got the chance to learn from this and to see how I bring that love and feeling back to glasses. Thank you.